to Bauershouse podcast episode 15. And today, my guest is one of the first content creators that I met on TikTok. He is a Twitch partner and has 150,000 followers on TikTok. He's the co host of the Lower Mid Card podcast and one of the most genuine and kind streamers I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, Ky1eDriver, aka not Seth Rogen. Kyle, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. I mean, after that intro, I mean, I'm good. I don't have to say it like you covered it. We're good. I'm just,
We just ended
we
right
just yeah, just before I dig myself a hole here. No, it's true. And likewise, like probably like near the beginning of the whole TikTok thing. Yeah, that's where we connected, and that was feels so long ago, but it was
I
only like
know.
it's only been like what 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just 2 years ago. And the first video I stumbled upon of yours was you helping a kid get his first victory in Warzone.
yeah. That was a good time. I low key miss like the old like Warzone days. Like I feel like content creation and streaming and all that's simpler time then. Like I
Yeah.
just played Warzone and it was fine. But yeah, no, it was those. I I miss those days where it was just everything was so new and exciting and all that stuff. And here we are, 3 years later, still doing the damn thing.
I mean, dude, your your content creation journey is just insane. And you've just been on a roll, man. Like, look, 2 years ago, you were sitting on 750 followers on Twitch. And
Yeah.
right now, 10.3K followers on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, how are you handling this like amazing progression? It seems like it's happening so fast.
And I think I'm pretty fortunate where it's actually been a pretty good progression. So it's not like it wasn't like a snap of the finger. It's like, oh shit, what am I doing? There's always been like this steady progression. So it's never been like shock. It's been something that I've been able to see, digest, and then like whatever adjustments I need to make with content and streaming and all that stuff, I've been able to implement. So I've never really felt like I was in over my head. Um, so it still blows my mind. Like when I sit back and I look at like old content that I've made and the content that I'm at now, like completely different things. Like the styles have changed, and there's that natural evolution of content and all that stuff. So plus my views on how streaming and content creation and all that stuff has changed with experience. So I count myself lucky, to be where I'm at right now. Um and it feels good. I do feel like I've been pretty successful with it all because people have done this for years and years and years, and like everyone grows at different rates, and I've been able to get to this point in a shorter period of time. So it's just it feels good for sure. Long
I
story short, it feels great.
No, that's great, man. And I feel like I'm lucky that I'm getting the opportunity to interview you now before you become famous because like it's like for all we know in like a year, 2 years time from this point, you might be sitting on who knows, like 30, 40K on Twitch. It could just keep on, it could just keep blowing up for you.
Yeah, I always try to sit back and look at it from a little bit more of a methodical standpoint. Like whatever happens, happens.
Sure.
I've learned to not put like unrealistic expectations on myself. So if you're starting off, just kind of take every day as it is. Like if things aren't going the way that you had anticipated, maybe you just got to retool something. Just taking the L's and taking the W's. That's a part of the game. So it's just I don't even know. It's been wild. It's just been a whole wild journey. Um, and I'm excited to see what happens. Like I I on streams, I'm very open and honest about the ebbs and flows of streaming and content creation. Right now, I'm kind of in like one of those dips, but um, it's not overly discouraging. I got a super supportive community, um, and it happens. You know, you can ask anybody, pick any streamer ever, and they'll tell you like there are low points, and we all go through them. So we're
Yeah,
going through a little bit of a slow point, and that's okay. But you know we're doing great. We're doing awesome.
not every stream's going to be perfect, and I
Exactly.
think that's important for kids that are wanting to get into
Hmm.
streaming to understand. Is for one thing, it's not as easy as it seems. It definitely takes a long time to build up, um, and yeah, it's not easy. And the one thing I wanted to point out was how amazing your stream intro is. It is like a freaking it's oh my gosh, it's like a movie entry, like a movie trailer
Yeah.
mixed with like a wrestling promo. It's like
Yeah.
it's a whole event. And if you guys haven't like been to one of Kyle's streams, please check it out because but catch it from the beginning because you really have to see how amazing this intro is.
Yeah. You can watch it. Just watch a VOD. Watch the beginning
Yeah,
of a VOD, and you'll get the vibe. It's I like to bring in the things that I enjoy. Right. It's not always about like hey we're not just the games that we stream or the games that we we also have interests outside of uh gaming and streaming. One of mine is professional wrestling. I mean, I recently started up the podcast with a buddy of mine, who we both share that love for professional wrestling, and I like to bring that in, because there's a certain energy that just professional wrestling brings. So yeah, so if you like the intro now, we're in the process of switching it up here soon because current trailer is about a year old. So uh, we're gonna be switching it up here soon, and the we'll just say more wrestling.
awesome. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's gonna be dope.
I want to take it back to the very first stream you ever did, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was it April 1st, 2020?
Around that time, it was around
Okay,
that time. Yeah,
okay. And first game was Enter the Gungeon.
yeah. Enter the Gungeon. Such a fun game. I don't know if you've ever
Amazing.
played it.
I have, yes. It is okay. So for the people out there, Enter the Gungeon is a ruthless game. All right. Because if you die at any point in your playthrough, you have to start from the beginning. It's one of those games that just doesn't care. It's just like, all right,
Right.
you got to just keep learning from your mistakes, keep dying. But I found that to be such an interesting game to stream for the first time.
I didn't know what I was doing. Like the whole story on how I started doing streams is, well, like a lot of people, we've always thought about it, and then we all went through the panini, the panty dropper, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. So we all went through that, and we were all stuck at home. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's have fun. And I wasn't able to see my friends, so that was just kind of like a way that I could just boot up a stream and people can hang out and if they wanted to, and it just kind of evolved um, in a relatively short period of time. Um, so it's Enter the Gungeon. It was just one of those things where it's like I could pick it up, I could play, and I could, if people popped in to chit chat, it was easy to just like stop for a moment, and chit chat and all that stuff. So it was just kind of like the perfect thing. And then Warzone, and Warzone happened.
And then Warzone.
Then
Well,
Warzone
hey,
happened.
Enter the Gungeon was a great preparation for Warzone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of just you know,
Honestly, it's apples to apples. It's basically the same game.
Basically, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, would you so you created a niche with yourself with Warzone, I feel like when like you were in the early stages
Hmm.
of your streaming journey. And then you got a little burnt out on COD.
Yeah.
I feel like as people do. I
Hmm.
think that it's just so hard to keep a good thing going.
Yeah.
Um and you made the switch over to Apex. My question is, do you ever feel like you may get burnt out on Apex because it's a similar game?
Oh, 100%. And honestly, if I we'll be honest here, I'm at that point where I am a
Mhm.
little bit burnt out on Apex content. Um, it's it's one of those things where, like, they're in the process of switching everything up. They're developing a whole new engine to, keep the game alive for years to come.
Mhm.
And we go top of the season, drags down. Top of the season, it drags down. I mean, we're at the point where we're at the end of this current season. Next Tuesday, the new season drops. There's a bunch of exciting things happening. So the hype always gets there, right? But something's a little different this time around. I'm not as excited about the new content. But that's just because you know what? I've been playing Apex for 2 years now. My content's been geared around that. I'm a bit burnt out on it, to be honest. Um, but there is silver linings. I was able to there's a game that's going to be coming out, the a new live beta test for First Descendant, which is a looter shooter. So if you like Warframe or Destiny or whatever, it's gonna be like that. So it was really well received for its first beta run. They actually I submitted an application to be a part of their like partner like creator program.
Nice.
They brought me in on that, so I will be in on this new beta test at the beginning of September. So some new stuff to look forward to. I've loved Destiny. I love looter shooters, so it's definitely something up my alley. Apex is still fun. I still enjoy it. It's just making content right now for it's a bit stale, and that
Sure.
happens. So you can always just change it up, play a different game or whatever. But I'm still having fun. The community still likes it. It's not to the point to where, yeah, I may be burnt out on making new content for Apex. But when I'm streaming and I'm playing Apex, whether it's ranked, whether it's customs, it's still a good time. But the burnout is real,
Sure.
and
Um,
you always dig a hole. Sometimes it's y- you can go two ways. You either you buckle down and you go the one game route, or you do the multi, or you do the variety streams. Whatever works for you. So, but I've found the most success doing majority just like focusing on singular content.
and yeah, I think streamers and content creators tend to find success when they find a niche.
Yeah.
It's just pretty natural. I've never really like fit into a niche. I've always just like streamed whatever like
Mhm.
has come to mind. But yeah, like I in my last episode I interviewed content creator, Big Gaming. His niche is all about horror, and it's amazing how fast he's grown.
Yeah.
Like just YouTube subs through the roof. And speaking of YouTube, um, do you see yourself branching out to YouTube a bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. I it's been a slower process than I wanted it to. That life happens. If
yeah,
if y'all want to know anything about me, I am married. I have a kid, and that kid is getting older. She'll be 12 in 4 days. So it's just been there's been a lot of time dedicated to being a dad and all that stuff. So it's a lot of migrating older content over to YouTube because it's still a new audience. Even if like I try to use content that can stay relevant because I'm a memesman. Most of my content's satire anyway, so a lot of that
mhm,
stuff it does translate well. Um, and it's been going okay. Um, So, but yeah, I've been migrating a lot of my shorts from TikTok to YouTube. So it's been a fun process watching the difference in the way that the algorithms work and the
Mhm.
interaction from people. It's definitely two different worlds. So it's been interesting to learn all that stuff.
I think you do really well with like longer form content with Apex, like 10 to 15-minute videos
Yeah.
of just montages because with your energy
hmm
and with some good editing behind it, oh, like you'd just be raking in subs.
I need to do is I need to like have like a throwback to like you ever remember those Power Thirst commercials? Like the fake energy drink commercial?
So that was like a internet video I remember. It was on YouTube. It was like power thirst.
Yeah. Power Thirst, Raw Berry, and like I'm just gonna do like real shit editing and just like have like just use like MS Paint and just that those are my edits. Those are gonna be my long form content. Just over the just very
M-
bottom barrel.
Banana, fizz bitch, and
Yeah,
gun.
gun. Yeah, it's
Oh
like
man.
a classic. Like that's peak internet.
Yeah.
I love man, the internet's so great. But that
It
I would
yeah.
totally like gear my like editing style to that just because time and I don't need transitions when you have MS Paint. Pop.
That would make for a great resurgence of that era of the internet
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
People are longing for that like E-bombs world era of
I think so, and
internet
I could
content.
tap into that. I'm an old guy. I mean, why not? So I'll resonate with the other old guys.
And you see, I look way younger than I look. I also am pretty old, but I look like I'm 18. So trust me,
Yeah.
I can relate. I can
If
relate
I were
to
to
you.
shave my face, it would look like a baby's face. So
Yes. And
so
now
that's why I
there's a
like
wrestling
this.
term, baby face,
Yeah, baby face. Yeah, exactly.
right?
Baby face.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. That means that you're like over with the crowd. You're like the super good guy. So
exactly. And your favorite wrestler's Macho Man.
yeah, cup of coffee in the big time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what
Oh
I'm saying,
man.
Bauer? The cream of the crop rises to the top. Ooh yeah. And
I
Bret
love
the
that.
Hitman Hart. Love Bret. And then Ric Flair. Woo! So you gotta, those are some of my favorites. I'm excited because
So good.
today actually it's a pretty busy day for me. Because I will be at SummerSlam today. SummerSlam is
Awesome.
in Detroit, Michigan, so I'll be downtown with all the other wrestling fans at Ford Field, home of the Detroit Lions.
So
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna be vlogging the event. I've never vlogged before, so why not
Hey,
try now?
YouTube
Yeah,
content.
YouTube content. There we go. I'm gonna be vlogging it up. It's gonna be a good time. And just enjoying hanging out with some friends and all that stuff.
If there was a wrestler that you'd get the opportunity to interview there, who would it be?
LA Knight. He's my favorite right now. Dude's white hot. And he's done this. It's been really cool watching him kind of like go through his thing. He went from just not well received with the crowd. Like he would get like an okay pop when he would come out, but now he's just like you like the Roman Reigns and your Seth Rollins and LA Knight is just and he doesn't even have a title. Like they don't even have a significant storyline for the guy, but he's just fucking over with the crowd. And
Yeah.
it's very cool to see and I would totally want to interview him about all that stuff. So if I could, LA Knight, we should talk, dude.
It's gonna happen. We're manifesting it
Yeah, we're
right now.
manifesting it. So we'll see. We'll see.
um, so if you had to show one wrestling match to someone that wanted to get into wrestling, which would it be?
I can go two routes with this. I can go either like indie wrestling where it's a giant meme, or I can go like legitimate. So what do I want
Let's
to do
hear the
here?
legit.
Okay, so the legitimate one, I would say s- there's so many.
It's so tough.
Anything with I don't know. I mean, like anything with like Will Ospreay, is really good. He's a huge name in like New Japan Pro Wrestling. Um, Ricochet puts on great matches. Um, but I would say my favorite. I gotta see if I have the right match though. I can give you the quick one. It's Kota Ibushi versus a blow up doll.
No way.
For like a meme, dude, like legitimate. There's a uh yeah, so in New Japan they did this like really silly thing where they have a wrestler called Yoshihiko, and and it's a blow up doll. And sometimes the wrestlers will come out and wrestle the blow up doll, but they'll do these crazy spots. But I would say Kota Ibushi versus Yoshihiko for like a meme type wrestling
Yeah.
match. And then if you want to just go classic, I mean, you can go Stone Cold versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay.
There was a really very infamous match. Like I don't remember when the match was, but the imagery where Bret's got his sharpshooter in and Stone Cold's bleeding, just gushing blood in the sharpshooter, and it just that match was just intense. So we'll use those two. Sorry that took a lot longer. My morning coffee hasn't hit yet, so
Same for me, dude. It's 7 in the morning here in the
making me
Pacific
brain.
Northwest, so
How
I'm
dare you?
like trying to get my brain working right now. But the really good response.
There you go.
I thought though that you would have mentioned the Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell from the Attitude Era.
That's a great match. It's definitely one of those like historic matches just because of like the ridiculous spot where like literally a man is flung from the top of a cage onto a announcer table.
Insane.
Not me. Nope. Not me.
um
Mm-mm.
it's like people that whine about wrestling being fake is the dumbest thing to me.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like those people should be shown that match because of the injuries
Hmm.
that Mick Foley sustained, internal bleeding, freaking busted up ribs,
Oh yeah.
broken teeth when he got like choke slammed through the cage and
Yeah.
down onto the ring. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I always say like yeah, it's scripted, but those bumps are real. They're really
Exactly.
getting hit with the chair. They're really getting power bombed onto a pile of thumbtacks that doesn't tickle, you know? Like it's
Right.
they're legit doing things, putting their bodies on the line. Yeah, the matches may be scripted and predetermined, but like the athleticism and, you know, putting your body through hell's still there. So
Sure.
again, it's yeah, that's a dumb argument. It's fake. Okay.
um so uh you've it seems you've been a pretty avid weightlifter um throughout your life, and was did it ever cross your mind like for you to ever want to pursue like pro wrestling?
Uh yeah, of course. Of course I've thought about it. But the drive just wasn't there, you know? Um, it just I know for me, like if I were to do anything like that, it would probably be on like a like kind of like a Jake Paul, you know, it'd be a part-time thing.
Right.
Um, or whatever. But I more enjoy watching and doing commentary on wrestling than actually doing the wrestling. Although I would, you know, if I ever got an invite to like a dojo or like a you know a school, you know, to take a couple months, I think I could do that.
I think I think it's gonna happen one of these days, because where you get your invite
Hmm.
to the WWE,
Yeah,
because if Steve-O's been on there,
yeah,
if Snoop, if like the most random people have been on there, and then you
hmm,
mentioned, Logan Paul, people always end up there as like, especially if they're just simply entertaining people.
yeah,
You have the personality to cut amazing promos to work the mic. And
Yeah,
so like I'm just like picturing it one of these days. Like
maybe
I'm
we'll
gonna
see.
see
Fingers
on one
crossed. Let's
episode,
will it into
right?
existence.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be
be.
amazing.
I don't know. I'd be able to die happy. Like I've stepped foot in a WWE ring, and I called someone a jabroni. I'm good.
What would be your entrance music?
Ooh, that's a good. See, I'm always torn. Like I like being a jokester and like I make I like to lighten things up. So it's either do I go like a meme type of entrance music like a careless whisper, or do I do uh there it makes me think of there's a wrestler in the indies, his name's Grado, and he comes out to like a prayer by
Oh,
Madonna,
that's amazing.
and it's
That's so
fucking
good.
incredible. He doesn't have a belt, he has a fanny pack. So he does like the iconic like rock where he would like fling the title over his hand and he would hold it up. He would do that with a fanny pack, and it's great. But I'd probably do something, like my favorite band of all time is Terror. They're a hardcore band. Probably something from them.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be such an epic entrance. Get the big pop from the crowd
Yeah.
and everything. Oh, that'd
Like
be
my
so good.
instead of a glass breaking, it'd be like a kazoo. Woo! And then like heavy hardcore punk music.
It's like a noise from Banjo Kazooie. Just
Yeah, exactly. Hello,
um
listen. And then and then
it
it's
would
just
have to have some sort of video game element to
yeah, it
it,
would
you
have
know.
to. It would have
That would be so good.
to.
Um so you're no stranger to cosplaying on your stream.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. I've seen Cactus Jack. I've seen Casey Jones, and most importantly, Sailor Dude.
Sailor Dude.
Oh
Sailor
my
Dude.
god, man. Amazing.
Honestly, I loved it. I loved it. The community loved it. We've done Velma too. I did a Velma cosplay.
That is
Um,
so good.
I think the next one that people want to see is either Fuse from Apex Legends,
Mhm.
or Danny Phantom, or as some of the community, Daddy Phantom.
Aha. Nice. Hey, you'd make a great Danny or Daddy Phantom.
Yeah,
Either way,
a little
it would be
spray
awesome.
the beard white a little bit, and yeah,
Didn't you do that for a Christmas
I did. I was
stream?
Old
Yeah.
Saint Thick.
Oh my gosh. That is now that should be your wrestling name.
Yeah, just Old
Right?
Saint Thick in the
Come out in a
house.
Santa outfit and everything. Oh man.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
had a
unreal.
black Santa hat, and I wore like a black jean vest and a tank top underneath, and I was Old Saint Thick for Christmas. It's a good
That's
time.
amazing. That is so good. If that doesn't bring in viewers, man,
Yeah,
I don't know what
it
will.
was a good time. I enjoyed it. I like my main goal, even if I'm not slaying it up, if I'm having like as long as I'm making people smile and laugh, that's my main goal. As long as
Absolutely.
we're smiling, laughing, having a good time, that's all that I care about.
There's two dates that I want to bring up um from this year.
Hmm.
One is kind of crappy, but thankfully the other one is a lot better. So
Okay.
let me get started.
Okay.
February 26th, you got your first rejection from the Twitch partnership program. Um, how did you handle that when that happened?
Um. So this is when I was actually doing my partner push. That was this year, right?
Hmm.
So it wasn't my first rejection. So I was able to get my first rejection out of the way. Um. The beginning of last year, I believe.
Hmm.
Um. I was a part of a stream event. They put me on the front page, and just by happenstance, I was able to unlock that application, and I knew it was a long shot for me to get accepted, and so I did anyway. They denied it. I knew it was going to happen. This second push, in the back of my mind, I knew they were going to deny. It's still a little disappointing. Um, we can go into the nuances of the being accepted into the partner program, because I'm actually watching a buddy of mine go through it right now, where he's been absolutely killing it, and he got his first denial, which I understand probably why they do it. It's more of like, can you sustain this for X amount of time?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's always a little disheartening when you're told no, when you work really fucking hard,
Right.
to get those goals. Um, but it just kind of we talked it over as a community. I was like, look, this is something that, you know, it's not a necessity to be a successful streamer. Um, but it definitely legitimizes and helps, kind of open doors when you have that verification, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, of course it was a little upsetting, but in the back of my mind, I knew it was going to be a denial, and you know, because everyone gets denied their first time or second time.
Sure. Um, and then it all came around though. April 5th, you freaking got your acceptance.
We did.
Did it.
I was sitting in. I can tell you where I was. I was getting lunch at a restaurant called Chicken Guy. Shout out Guy Fieri. He has a chicken chain,
That's awesome.
and it's like chicken fingers, and they're delicious. Anyway, I was sitting there waiting for my order. My phone buzzed, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And I opened it, and it was my acceptance email. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I shed, I shed a few tears in a chicken restaurant when I found out that I got my partnership. So
I don't blame you, man. I would have done the exact same thing. I mean,
yeah.
there's so much leading up to that
Mhm.
moment that, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, it's like you work hard, it's pretty when you're doing a partner push, at least for me, obviously it's not, not everyone has this experience. But you got to keep that community engaged. You got to keep them, energized, and from stream to stream, and you have to be, you know it sucks having to harp over numbers and all that stuff, but you kind of have to.
Right.
So during that stretch of the push, it's exhausting. It is 100% exhausting. So, but worth it, and I'm proud proud of the work that I've done. The community, I'm proud of the community, and it's been fun. Been fun.
Congratulations on
Thank you,
that,
man.
man. I mean,
Thank you.
it's
Thank you.
just
Thank you.
people don't understand. It's just content creation is such a grind, especially when you have a full-time job, a
Hmm.
family. You have
Yeah.
all these things going on, and yet you're still making the time to stream, still making the time to edit when you can.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it's not an easy thing. So kudos to you, man. And
Thank
and
you.
I
Thank you.
only see nothing but the best coming your way.
Hey,
So
yeah. Even though we're in that lull, big things are coming. Big
big
things
things
are
are
coming.
coming. That's right. Um, how how would you say you deal with toxic comments on a video or rude people in your stream?
Um, I'm very fortunate to where like the amount of rude people that come into my streams is very limited. Um, and if even if they do, it's just like I'm I'm 36 years old. A lot of these kids are just like they're looking for a certain reaction. Being a parent, being around kids, knowing how kids are. I'm like, okay, like, all right, move on. But also like
Right.
even if negative comments can be turned into content. People love
Hmm.
that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I've learned early on. Like if you have trolls or whatever, use it as an opportunity to make some content. You know, like they're looking for their little 5 minutes or whatever. Might as well benefit from it. So
Sure. Yeah.
it's the thing. Like I've hateful comments have always just been like whatever. People have opinions. You don't have to like my content. It just, of course it can be frustrating, especially, um, if you constantly get them. Um, I don't know, why I'm not, why I'm lucky and I don't get the trolls ever so often, but when I do, I just turn them into content. Um, but people definitely have it a lot worse than I do when it comes to like hateful, toxic troll comments. So
Yeah,
I just kind of turn into I just use that, make content. I I've always learned that.
that's great. Yeah, because it's like you're saying, there's other streamers have it pretty rough where
Mhm.
they're victims of like hate raids and things like
Yeah.
that, which is just terrible. And it just sucks that there's like groups of
Mhm.
kids that they try to pick out streamers like this to just freaking basically bully,
Right.
and they get a rise out of that. And I mean, I don't know where that stems from. I don't know if that's like an upbringing thing or if it's just bullying just naturally existing in life and you just can't avoid it, or I don't
I trust me, I wish I had that answer.
know. Yeah,
I wish I had
it's
that answer. I mean, it's probably a bit of column A, column B, and column C.
mhm,
Just bored, having this vast access of technology at our fingertips and being able to, throw trash opinions, out like it's nothing, with reckless abandon.
mhm.
Um, and not realizing that, like, hey, guess what? Like people like you or myself, we're real people at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to, pursue a dream. And I don't know, it's like, do you not have that? Or do you not have like the wherewithal to kind of wrap your mind around a concept like that? I don't know what it is. I don't. And of course it's stupid, but
Yeah, and there it seems like there's two different types of haters. There's the ones that you can flip and turn
mhm.
around,
Yeah.
and then they'll be, oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and then everything's fine, which I find that funny. Like, so
Oh
you
yeah.
start off negative just so you get the attention, and then you pull back when you realize it was not okay.
Yeah.
So that's weird. There's that, and then there's
Yeah.
the ones that are just full blown toxic. You can't do anything about it,
No.
and but I guess that's
They
what
just need a
banning
hug.
is for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like that's you like you have control over the type of things that can enter your chat. Like someone
Hmm.
pops in, it doesn't pass the vibe, eat their ass. You don't have to
Right.
sit there. You
Yeah.
don't have to entertain these people. Like the people that are coming to cause problems and to create this rift within your community. You can tell you can just simply say nope and cut them. It's you don't have to waste time on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there are other streamers they can watch that specialize in that
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like
So,
you have your reactionary streamers that kind of, they watch certain types of content and it breeds certain types of viewers and people thrive in those environments. Um Me
yeah.
probably not. I'd probably just turn grumpy old man and just be like, this is dumb."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I could never. I don't know. I could never do like clickbaity stuff and all
Yeah,
that. Like, I would just feel like it's just not natural to me.
feels cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Exactly.
But hey,
It's
like I'm not gonna lie, I watch my fair share of just like content like that because it's just like, wow, what? It's more of like you're looking at the person being an ass, and you're just like, man, what an ass, and then you just go, and then you move on. Like I don't know, I just can't turn it off sometimes.
right. Yeah, there is like an alluring quality to it that brings you in for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely one thing to watch it and it's another to actually be that person to do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
But um is it true that during your upbringing you experienced like a bit of bullying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I was actually talking to a friend about this not too long ago. Yeah, just I was always like when most people see me like I'm a larger human. Um and but in high school and growing up I was not. I literally graduated high school like 5'4" and a buck 20. I was a very small boy.
Uh-huh.
I didn't grow until after. I'm what you call a late bloomer. Uh, as my mother, "You're just a late bloomer, honey, it's fine." Uh, but anyway, well, that didn't stop them from shoving me in lockers, ma. But yeah, no,
Wow.
I was 100% bullied, throughout school. It sucked. Um, but I do think, you know, finding the silver lining in things, it helps shape who I am today, right? Maybe, to help me be a bit more accepting and, and understand that everybody's different. And we, like these unrealistic expectations or these molds that we hold about other people or how other people should be is just it's not fair. And I've always tried to be, open um and inclusive, because we all deserve a place to where we can hang out and be ourselves.
Sure.
So yeah, I 100% dealt with it.
Was there like a hobby or a person that kept you grounded during that time?
I did have a very small group of friends who I'm actually gonna I'm going to SummerSlam with two of them. Uh,
Nice.
they are my lifers. They are my ride or dies. But yeah, I mean, we all just kind of hung out. Like it was just we would always just kind of just find time to just hang out and play video games and just exist uh with our friends. Just our group. So that's definitely been, that was my what my what's the word? The word sanctuary, I guess.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
We got it.
Sure.
Brain, get it going. Let's go.
um, has your daughter, little driver, been the victim of bullying, and how have you guided her through that?
Yeah. Actually, so my daughter's going through a pretty rough time. She's been the victim of bullying from like older boys, um, even from like her friends. Having to see her go through that, was like re-experiencing it, and it's fucking heartbreaking.
Mm,
But things that I can always, tell her, look, at the end of the day, like these kids probably won't even matter when you're done with school, when it's all said and done. But that's a hard concept, for a child to really understand, because they still have
mhm,
to go through that time. She's still got 6 years of school left. She will be in seventh grade, this coming school year. So we're hoping, she's in a new school. She's moved from upper elementary to middle school. So we're hoping that, being able to shift from class to class, having new kids in her class every period,
mhm,
I think that change should be good. I hope it is. But I always try to just be like, look, you gotta do your best to, try to kill them with kindness.
mhm,
Don't stoop down to their level, because my daughter's a very, very bright, compassionate kid. She's always the first to welcome in someone new. And when I see, kids taking advantage of that or trying to squander that light, it's very upsetting.
sure.
So I just try to help reinforce her, help her, just, you got this. So it's just tough. And it's one of those things you can never really prep for as a parent. Like, I did go through it, but going through it and then watching, your kid go through, that's completely different. So it's a
Yeah.
it's like learning a whole new thing even though you've gone through it yourself.
Yeah, that's an odd feeling.
Yeah. So, but she's handling it. She does have a good group of friends. Um and usually it's I've only gotten one phone call this past year. It's like, your daughter hit somebody, so it's like, well, did they deserve it?
Yes, probably. Yeah.
They did. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, she's gonna have to not come to school for a couple days. It's like, okay,
All
is the
right,
other
great.
kid going? It's like, nope. All right, we're good then.
Right. She's a an incredible artist, your daughter,
She is.
by the way.
She's so talented. Which is just, like I try to just harbor that, that creativity. Just if she asks for those tools, like whether it's art supplies or whatever, I'm gonna try to fuel that creativity because she's incredibly talented. Whether it's with pencil drawings, pastels, like basically she'll do it all.
Mhm.
But her digital art's ridiculous.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm
Where
speechless.
where do you think her love of art comes from?
Um, I think it probably comes from like my side. Like both of my sisters are very talented artists. So I don't know. I think it might be just like a girl thing on my side of the family that just for some reason they can all draw, and I can draw stick figures. Thanks, mom. No, just kidding. I can't. I don't know, but like it just we've never really discouraged things. So I'm hoping just her being able to express herself freely has been the main source of that creativity. So
Sure. Um, Before you became a content creator, didn't she come up to you and tell you that she wanted to be one?
yeah, she did. She still does. She's like, I'm counting down until I'm 13 so I can make content. And it's one of those things where it's like, are we like do we let her do that? Because the internet is cruel and ruthless. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter, who you are. Just because you're younger doesn't mean people are gonna go easy on you. It seems like that people, it's one of those things where it's like I would love for her to be creative and share that, but also in a safe way. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a struggle that we got coming up over the next year.
Well, we all remember our first experience on Xbox Live, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You were either lived or died in those lobbies.
Oh my gosh,
Whether
so
it's
crazy.
Halo, whether it was Modern Warfare 2. Oh my goodness.
I remember when I got it was for the original Xbox, they had an Xbox Live bundle where they gave you like a year membership, the
Mhm.
headset.
Oh god, the shittiest
Um
headset ever.
right? Yeah, it
It's
was
so
like
bad.
it was like a call center headset.
Yeah.
Like um and just playing Mortal Kombat online for the first time and just getting just trashed in my
Oh
ear,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like and just at such a young age. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And with content creation and being that young, I think it's probably even tougher than just
Oh
playing
yeah.
an online game because you're getting all sorts of criticism from different angles there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's just like it's one of those things like if she tried to make content on art, it's just like everyone's a critic. And it's just
mhm,
like I wouldn't want that to, discourage her from, you know, making content because she already deals with bullying in real life. Like I wouldn't want to see her go through that online where it can
right.
be worse, you know.
Yeah,
So it's one of those things. So we'll see what happens. I think maybe we'll probably have her wait a little bit and
sure.
kind of, maybe experience life so that way she can kind of get a little bit more tools to navigate those situations. Um yeah, it's rough out here.
Maybe she could start off by doing like some Discord live streams with her friends of her doing art.
Yeah, I think
Just to
that would be
kind
a
of
good start. Yeah.
ease yeah, like ease her way into it, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Um
I don't know. The wife is a hard no. She's like, "No, I
yeah,
don't want her doing it." And I was like, I mean, like maybe I can help." So
right.
that's
And
why
I
I'm
mean,
kind of paving that way, kind of learning as we go. Like even if it's just something like, if she makes the content, I can manage it. So that way she doesn't see that stuff. So it's a little bit of a control.
mhm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
Well, I'm sure she's getting pumped for it because
Oh
she's
yeah.
seeing your success
hmm Yeah,
with
and
it. So,
and that's another thing too that we've had a talk with about. It's like, you know, like it takes work and it takes time, and just because like me or other people have found that success, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to as well. So it's
Sure.
again setting those expectations for ourselves in what we do. So it's oh, there's so many things to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you look at too the percentage of successful streamers
Hmm.
out of all the people that try to get into it, what is it like? I think it's like 1%,
Yeah,
maybe
like
like
even I
2.
think
It's
I'm
like it's
sitting at like and in like the top 1% of Twitch.
it's crazy.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, that alone should tell people like just go into it
yeah,
with with love, with passion, but just don't get so high on it
right.
that, that the fall is going to hurt
Hmm.
so hard.
I mean, let's even look at like a lot of people. You had the huge influx of people streaming and content creating at during the duration of the pandemic, and a lot of those people that I had connected with, they've moved on.
Mhm.
They've found other things, other avenues, whatever. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart when it comes
Yeah.
to do this stuff. So
Cuz they probably enjoyed the idea of it.
right,
And then life
yeah,
came in and yeah, but um what does your family think about your success as a creator? Like, do your sisters or your parents ever like pop into your streams?
no. My
No.
my my younger sister has, they so they don't really understand it. I've explained it to them, but they're just like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, I mean, like, and it's like something like, I mean, I get it. Like, I started doing streaming, like I've been well out of my parents' basement, if you will, for the better part of a decade. Um, so it's just like they don't really see it,
Mm,
and they of course they're happy for me. They're like, "Oh, that's awesome," but they just don't
sure.
get it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I think it's kind of tough,
Mhm.
especially with like how do you explain Apex Legends in like a minute to them? You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
all it's complex stuff for people that aren't actively involved in
yeah.
gaming.
Like, my
Um
dad's still playing NHL '95 on the Nintendo
I mean,
64.
that's
So,
awesome.
it's a great game, I love it,
Yeah.
but it's like the gaming has moved well beyond for what, like, my dad's willing to, like, adapt. So he's like, obviously, he still plays on his N64, so,
That's so cool.
yeah. Um, so it's a harder thing to explain with how drastic the technology has changed, and it's just, they're kinda stuck in their own little world.
I mean, especially from his point of view, starting off with what was it, Atari
Mhm.
2600, then he got you guys a NES. So to then all the way to now,
Yeah.
watching you play Apex, it's like that's so hard to comprehend.
Yeah. It's like I fight other people with guns, and
It's
then
like,
I try
okay.
to be the last one standing. Like, that's the best I can do. And they're like, "Oh, cool. That's awesome. As long as
Okay,
you're
great.
happy.
I
Do you
just
want more
scored.
potato salad?"
I'm just gonna play NHL. I got to score on Martin Brodeur really quick.
Yeah. Northbound on a southbound freeway. Look out. Man, those voice lines so good.
Are you talking about
From NHL.
from NHL?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
I,
dude. I
I
love it.
remember from Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey for N64, they had like that goalie's a wall, and he would turn into a brick wall.
Oh
I
my
don't know if
god.
you ever played that one, but
I have
oh,
not
it was
played the Wayne
so
Gretzky.
so good. Oh my gosh, that was like a classic.
Classic.
Yeah. Um, what would you say is an obscure game that you wish more people knew about?
An obscure game that more people knew about. I don't know. Can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of like an obscure game that I would play and enjoy. Recently, I don't know, Vampire Survivors. That one's fun. I love that game.
Love that one. Oh
That
my
one's a good one.
gosh.
I wouldn't say that's obscure though. That's just my time consumer.
It's I think it's starting to become a little more known now. People are starting to realize that it's not just a game with cheesy graphics. It is
Mm,
a pretty addictive
Oh
game.
yeah.
And it almost works like I'm trying to compare it to like another game. I think maybe Smash TV back in the day, but you're basically just trying to survive
Hmm.
waves of enemies
Yeah,
that come at you.
it's a
Um,
gauntlet almost.
right. Yeah. Something like that. Um, but yeah, I would say your obscure game would be the volleyball comboed with World Cup soccer, was it? From
Ooh,
NES?
yeah, Super Spike Volleyball
That's the
and
one.
World Cup Soccer. That one was
Yes.
so good. I remember just whoever had it, I was playing Super Spike or World Cup. So,
Yeah.
if you played World Cup Soccer, it was by the same makers that did, um, River City Ransom, and those games. I loved River City Ransom too. That's another one. That's probably obscure too. Just
Sure.
just old school River City Ransom. They had a dodgeball one too as
Yeah.
well, and just like when you would hit them, like their eyes would pop out of their head, and just it was so silly and fun. And then
I
Super Spike Volleyball was the same way. You could like charge up your spike and just destroy people.
I loved how games back then, since they were so primitive, there was no need for a story. There was no need for anything.
No.
They're just like Paperboy. Got it. Game.
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know,
No. Done. Burger time.
Burger
Cool.
time.
We get it.
Uh, pitfall. Guys just falls through a hole.
Yeah.
Great.
Excite bike.
Yeah.
Just go.
yeah. Now they have to come up with like a whole thing now, like
But what's
really
the
in depth
Excite
characters.
bike guy's motivation? I need to know.
Well, that's probably like going to be like a YouTuber's clickbaity video. What was the Excite Bikes family like? Like it's like they want to know like the origins of
Yeah.
things, you
Just I
know?
need to know what made him want to
Yeah.
race.
Yeah. There's one content creator that I saw his video was, and he's a pretty famous guy named, I think his name is Wang, Justin Wang. He came out with a video of who did Glass Joe beat for his one victory in Punch
Oh,
Out. And I was so jealous of that as a
that's so
creator because I'm like,
good.
that's such a great
That
idea.
is.
Because then you can like interview the devs and ask them, like, all right, why was his record one win?
Yeah.
Who did he beat?
Yeah, who did he beat? Does anyone know? We need
I
to know.
didn't. Now I gotta watch the video because I was like, man, that was like a save for later. I'm gonna go back to
Yeah.
it and find out who it was because I gotta know.
Blast Joe, that bitch. I'm just-
yeah. He's the one that just got victimized. Like he
yeah.
was the easiest character out of that game. But
Did you ever play the Super Punch Out for the SNES?
as a kid, very little of it. Because my brothers and I were dummies and we always traded our games in for some
Oh,
reason.
yeah.
We had a whole thing of N64 games, SNES, everything, all the classics, and we gave them all away. But yes, I played very little of it. I would like to revisit it though, because that's a classic. So
That was so good. It
yeah.
was so good.
And then they made the one for the Wii too.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they've always brought that one back, which is great.
It was great, but like okay, so I'll tell you. So Punch Out. There's a place in downtown Ann Arbor in Ann Arbor, Michigan, called Pinball Pete's, and they have just classic pinball machines and classic arcade machines and all that stuff. And they have like the original Punch Out game, and I struggled with Glass Joe, and I was
Wait, you're the one. He
I
beat
got it.
you.
I'm the one. Me,
You're the
it's
one.
me. I'm bad. So and I'm just like I couldn't understand the controls. They were so different
Yeah.
than the NES. Like the port from the arcade to the NES was so different. Like like I could beat Glass Show with my eyes closed on the NES, but on this thing I'm sitting here going, "Why am I struggling? I don't like this. This game sucks." Cuz that's what we did when we were bad at the game. It wasn't our fault. It's the
right. Right.
game's fault.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Of
this
course.
game stinks.
You don't
No,
know
me,
how
I
many
just
games. Oh my gosh, that I would play with my brothers, and they would always go like, "That's bullshit. That's the this," and I'll be
yeah,
like, "Come on, what are you doing?" like,
skill issue.
right? Yeah. Like, just let me have my little victory. I'm the youngest one here. I need to get some
Let me
dubs here.
let me do it, Brandon. I don't know if your brother's
Uh,
name's Brandon, but I'm just
no, no, but it was a good attempt
I tried.
though. So Kyle, we've hit our time, dude. This has
Hell yeah,
been
man.
such an amazing episode, and I thank you so much for doing this. And but
Appreciate the invite.
before we end this episode, I have a surprise for you.
What's the surprise?
So I reached out to some content creators that know you,
Uh-huh.
um, and I asked them a pretty simple prompt. How would you describe Kyle? Unfortunately, I came up with this idea Thursday evening and was working on very limited time.
Uh-huh.
But I'm thankful that I got at least three responses,
Okay. Okay.
and I'm going to share them with you right now.
All right.
The first one is from N64 Josh
I love Josh.
saying, the chillest, most positive dude around. The next one is from Hannah H. Fox, one of the most driven, enthusiastic, and humble people I've ever met in streaming, and an okay Apex player, I guess.
Oh, nice have words.
And lastly, we have one from Sean.Games saying, I would describe Kyle as your friendly neighborhood dad. He just gives off the most loving and warm energy and always welcomes everyone with a smile, regardless of how he's feeling. He has done so much for others in his life thus far, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. He stands up for others and is just an all around good guy. We need more Kyles in this world. He's going to make us cry, right?
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I'm like,
telling
fuck,
you.
Sean, dude. I'm like feeling glossy over here.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
But
just all three of them, just awesome people. You got it.
yeah. Yeah, if that's not proof that Kyle Driver you know, is an amazing dude, then please guys, go and check him out on his Twitch, on his TikTok. Um and sorry, I'm doing your segment for you.
No, you're good.
This is your moment to promote, plug whatever you like.
Well, yeah, if y'all want to check me out live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kyle Driver. Use that one instead of an L. Uh, or if you are a enjoyer of wrestling and podcasts, you can check us out at the Lower Mid Card Podcast. Anywhere you view podcasts is where you can find it. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything super exciting coming up. Just kind of doing the Apex thing. New season drops Tuesday, so I'll be doing some streams with that. And then just kind of waiting out until the beta for First Ascendance comes. So just some exciting stuff coming, and a little bit of something old, and hopefully something new coming soon.
Awesome. That's
Dude, thank you
great.
so much
Thank you
for
so
your time, man.
much, man. For sure. And to the listeners and viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.